Every morning, before the city fully woke up, the homeless man sat on the same wooden bench near the old train station. The bench faced the street, where buses sighed as they stopped and pigeons fought over crumbs. Most people passed him without looking. Some pretended he was invisible. Others noticed him only enough to feel uncomfortable, and then quickly looked away. The man's name was Thomas Hale, though almost no one knew that anymore. His coat was too thin for winter and too heavy for summer, and its color was impossible to guess. His shoes were cracked, their soles worn thin like paper. His beard had once been neatly trimmed, but now it grew freely, silver mixed with dark brown. His eyes, however, were sharp and calm, the kind of eyes that noticed details most people missed. Every day, Thomas arrived before sunrise. He placed his small backpack beneath the bench, sat down carefully, and watched the city come alive. Years ago, Thomas had lived a life that looked ordinary from the outside. He had been a history teacher at a public high school. He loved old books, handwritten letters, and stories about forgotten people. He believed history was not about kings and wars, but about small choices made by ordinary men and women. He had a wife named Eleanor, who laughed easily and drank too much coffee, and a daughter named Lucy, who asked difficult questions and refused to accept easy answers. Their apartment was small, but it was filled with warmth, music, and the smell of fresh bread Eleanor baked every Sunday. Thomas thought his life would always be like that. Then came the winter that changed everything. Eleanor fell ill first. What began as a cough turned into long nights in hospitals, surrounded by beeping machines and whispered conversations. The doctors tried, but the illness moved faster than hope. Eleanor passed away one cold February morning, holding Thomas's hand. Thomas did not break that day. He became quiet, smaller somehow, as if part of him had faded with her. Lucy tried to be strong, but grief is heavy, especially for the young. She began skipping school, arguing with teachers, shutting herself behind locked doors. Thomas wanted to help, but he was drowning in his own sadness. Bills piled up. His work suffered. The school eventually let him go. Gently but firmly, Thomas began drinking to sleep, then to forget. Then, simply because the days were too long without Eleanor's voice, Lucy left to live with her aunt. Thomas lost the apartment, and before he fully understood what had happened, he found himself sleeping in shelters, then on streets, then on that bench near the train station. He learned the rhythm of the city. The rush of workers in the morning, the tired faces in the evening, the silence after midnight. He learned which restaurants threw away food and which shop owners would chase him away. But Thomas also learned something else. He learned how lonely people really were. One morning, a boy stopped in front of the bench. He was about 10 years old, wearing a school uniform that looked too clean for the street. He stared openly at Thomas, without fear or disgust. "Why do you sit here every day?" the boy asked. Thomas looked up, surprised. Most children were pulled away by nervous parents. "It's a good place to watch stories pass by," Thomas replied. The boy frowned. "What stories?" Thomas smiled slightly. "Everyone has one." The boy considered this. Then his mother called him, and he ran off, glancing back once more. The next day, the boy returned. His name was Daniel. Daniel came every morning before school. At first, he only asked questions. About the bench. About the pigeons. About why people looked sad when they were in a hurry. Thomas answered patiently.